We're talking about the latest in regards to LeBron James. It is still LeBron watch. Where is he going? Who knows? Last time we left you on Wednesday, it felt like the Warriors were the leader in the clubhouse. Now it's looking like it's the Cleveland Cavaliers. This thing's going to get dragged out. What's going on there?
What is he waiting for, you think?
I don't know. I just don't think he's in a rush. He doesn't really like...
Yeah, I mean, it's not about like just... What do you mean he's not in a rush? Like, where are you going, dude?
Shams Charania.
Like,
ESPN.
Am I the only one? Like, just pick your spot, dude.
He just wants to chill.
After LeBron James' decision to leave the Lakers on Tuesday, he returned back to the golf course. And so clearly LeBron James is not in a rush right now to make a decision. He's evaluating everything, but his biggest priority in all this is finding a team where he feels like he's going to have a chance to play meaningful basketball, compete for a championship. My understanding is this will not be a financially driven money decision. And so his agent, Rich Paul, has been getting about a dozen pitches ever since free agency opened at 6 p.m. Eastern time on Monday. But when I talk to teams around the league, 3 stand out during this process. That's the Golden State Warriors, Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Miami Heat. So LeBron James will take probably the next few days to sift through all that, figure out exactly where he's at. There is no timetable. I will say, though, I have listened to Rich Paul on his own podcast on Game Over, and he's given hints along the way this year about how the Lakers situation was looking. I do have a hunch that we might get some more hints along the way here the next few days.
Just stop.
Hints.
Stop. Rich Paul.
The whiteboard.
Like, do you really think they're like Mike Dunleavy is like, Rich, me and Joe Lacob want to do a full presentation for you so that you can go back to LeBron and explain to him what we did?
Oh, no, don't worry. It's not going to be. It's Rich Paul and Draymond Green. Draymond Green is going to do the PowerPoint to LeBron on why he should come to Golden State.
No, you have to do it to Rich Paul. That's what Shams is telling us.
Oh, well, Draymond, Rich Paul represents Draymond, so
I
it's perfect.
despise Rich Paul. God.
So don't reach out to him as a guest, potentially? You wouldn't want to talk to him? What would be your question to Rich Paul? If you had to ask one question to him.
Why do you think you're going to be sustainable post LeBron James?
Well, he has the likes of Draymond Green, Anthony Davis. Clutch Sports has turned into a juggernaut.
Be retiring shortly.
He's Scott Boras of basketball. He's the guy now, Joe. He gets his players paid.
I'd rather have Master P work out a contract for me in sports than Rich Paul.
What's he doing these days, Master P?
I'm putting out docs.
Hanging out? Yeah. Him and Lil Bow Wow?
At least I know he's about it.
Or was it Lil Romeo? Excuse me, not Bow Wow. Here's more from Shams over the weekend.
Little Romeo was his son.
Yeah, I know. It was from the show. You didn't watch the show when we were kids.
No.
Sam, myself, and Carter, there was a show on Nickelodeon called Lil Romeo.
Okay.
And Master P was featured on it. I think we talked about this at one point. And they had Master P on the show had an adopted white son. It was incredible. It's true. It was incredible theater. You couldn't even you had to laugh at that. It was incredible.
Was the adopted son Riff Raff?
No, it was not Riff Raff.
Rapper?
It was some blonde hair, blue-eyed kid. I don't know. Shams on the Warriors not being at the top of LeBron's list right now.
Joe, I think at least a few, but this is a true free agency process because so much has changed, right? There's the fluidity that comes with it, with information. A few days ago, the Sixers didn't have Jaylen Brown, so now they do. They did it in stunning fashion, and so now they have to be on the radar of LeBron James, and so where does that fit them? And then the Cavaliers, the Heat, they're two teams that are known quantities. The Warriors, going into free agency, they dreamt up a grand plan of Draymond Green, Stephen Curry, LeBron James. But the big domino with them is trying to get a player like an Anthony Davis so you can bring in LeBron James and Anthony Davis as a package deal. Short of that, they're not really looked at right now at the top of this list, but things can change.
All right, Warriors fans, 888-957-9570. Last time we left off on Wednesday, it felt like, hey, maybe they could just bring in LeBron James and you don't need Anthony Davis. Well, recent events and dominoes have taken place. DeAndre Ayton getting traded to the Washington Wizards. Maybe that now opens the door for a potential trade of Anthony Davis. And are you interested in doing that, Warriors fans? If it means luring LeBron James in free agency, you have to trade for Anthony Davis and more than likely pay him out. Are you doing that? 888-957-9570. Joe, let me just ask you bluntly right now. Are you still doing that? 2 firsts for Anthony Davis, extending him, and getting LeBron James. You still doing that?
Reluctantly, probably.
Okay.
That's how down bad we are. I'm just being real. Like you're asking, like reluctantly, I would. I probably would.
I would too.
Because the alternative is so bleak.
Well, there is no alternative.
Well, no, the alternative of like staying old.
Yes.
Because they've already committed to some of these guys. Staying old and playing this year out, that feels lifeless.
Running it back for the same exact thing. I know. It sounds horrible.
I don't think they win 38 games if they run it back. I'm dead serious.
Well, no. Well, what was their record after Steph got hurt last year and they were without Jimmy?
Doesn't matter. They're not going to have Butler for months.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, but Steph does help in that regard a little bit, but he's not going to play in every single back-to-back.
Remember what they were when they had Wiggins, who was healthy at the time, before they traded for Jimmy Butler. They were about 500, and they were overachieving. And that was with a healthy Steph, playing in every game.
All right. You've heard from myself, Shasky, Shams. Here's Max Kellerman of the Game Over podcast.
Oh, God, more Rich Paul.
Shams,
I told you, there's two people in sports I don't want to hear from. It's Scott Boras and it's Rich Paul. But I'm so done with hearing from them. He gives us
a glimpse of the conversations he is having with LeBron. He represents him. This is Max asking Rich about LeBron playing.
Just before you play it.
With Steph and Draymond.
Do I sound like a whack job? I'm so exhausted with Rich Paul.
I think you are in the knee-deep and nitty-gritty of all of this stuff, so I think you might be more exhausted than the average Warrior fan, because the average Warrior fan's not really tuning into Rich Paul. They're just not. This is your job. So we're knee-deep on all of the Rich Paul, clutch sports, all of that stuff. And the average Warrior fan's just hoping they get LeBron James, and they want to get some insight from the guy that represents him.
Rich Paul.
I know.
LeBron represents himself. Like, when are we ever going to feel like... When you're that big, you don't need representation. You are your representation.
Well, why does he have them?
I don't know. I don't know.
Just cause?
I don't know.
He's Ari Gold, Entourage.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Max Kellerman asking Rich Paul about LeBron playing with Steph and Draymond.
Him and Steph, who have been, like, if there's a face of the league that's not LeBron, it's been Steph.
God.
For him to play with those guys and Dre, how important would that be to him? Like, is that for him like something he's really thought about through the years?
I mean, the golf would be tremendous with those guys.
What about playing basketball with those guys?
I mean, come on, Max. What are you talking about? It's Steph and Dre.
Was he jealous at all when KD went to Golden State and he got to play with Steph? I think sometimes how Michael Jordan said he watches LeBron and thinks how he would have guarded him. Did LeBron ever watch them play and think, this is how I would play with Steph?
I don't know the answer to that. But what I will say to you is, Steph and Dre, obviously you get 4-time champions like you are. You get some of the highest IQ basketball. You get a guy in Joe Lacob who, I've told you this the whole time, wants to win. He wants to win, and a great business mind at that. And so you can buy into whatever you want to buy into, but Steph and Dre.
His first response isn't even basketball related. It's just think of the golf between Steph and LeBron James.
It's like I wasted a minute and a half of my life. The only person who's clicking on that podcast is Shams. Speaking of which, Shams, you've been on TV now 4 or 5 years. Dude, you have got to get more eloquent.
What are you talking about?
We've
noticed with these guys, unless you're Adam Schefter.
He's great at breaking news. He's terrible on TV.
Well, so was Woj. That was the same thing.
No doubt.
I need Steiny's Woj impression again.
Doubt.
Steiny, if you're listening, can you give me another Woj impression today?
I completely agree.
And Shams learned from Woj, so maybe it's, the proof is in the pudding there. Is this same one on my board the same thing? It's just cut down, or is this him
be the only
expanding
one.
on
Like, could you imagine Max Kellerman and Scott Boras? I'd feel the exact same way. Would I not?
Probably.
Could you imagine the infield drills Willie Adames and Matt Chapman would be doing? Could you imagine those? No, what about the strikeouts? No, we don't want to talk about that.
Don't talk about those at the Liam Neeson. Don't talk about that. Rich Paul on the Warriors situation for Bron. Is this the same one, Carter? He's going to listen for me in the back. It's all right.
It's more Rich Paul.
Well, he had the whiteboard out, Joe. And for those of you who haven't seen it.
Nothing to me.
It didn't?
Half the league was on there.
Well, no, hold on.
It was so theatrical. It was like so over the top. Like, give me a break.
You have LeBron in the middle.
It's like Juan Soto, like, look at the 14 teams I want to go to. It's like, you were only going to go to like 3.
You have LeBron in the middle, all right? And on the very bottom, you have Ant, Melo, McDaniel, Gobert. I'm assuming that's the Timberwolves. All right. Corner right, Murray, Johnson, Gordon, Jokic. So the Nuggets. One team he's definitely not going to is Denver, by the way. LeBron going to the top right now. Mitchell, Harden, Mobley, Allen. Okay, Cleveland.
I do have a hard time seeing him and Harden coexisting.
Yeah, I don't see that either. Well, Harden hasn't even re-signed yet, has he? He's still a free agent. He opted out.
He's waiting for LeBron to make his decision, just like Draymond. Same situation.
And right now, if I had to,
Do you think he has a whiteboard with all of the strip clubs in America?
I hope so.
And like where he wants to be?
Well, where his jersey's retired. It's just the one in Houston, right? Maybe Magic City.
If LeBron goes to Cleveland, mark my words, Harden to Atlanta.
I would love that for him.
Look at you.
I would love that for him. Bring back the Magic City night. They still made the hoodies.
Or Brooklyn.
Bottom left. Okay, these are the teams most attached to LeBron, by the way. This is the Rich Paul whiteboard.
Okay, the whiteboard.
Mitchell, Wiggins, Giannis, Bam. That's Miami. And then the last team that's connected.
Wiggins, yeah. That's a good spot for him, too.
And this is the team that I think Warriors fans are pissed off about because they just made this big trade. The Philadelphia 76ers. Maxey, Edgecombe, Brown, Embiid, and then adding LeBron. I do think that makes them a top contender in the East,
Joe,
and they could win that conference.
Here's the difference. It's not the Embiid. It's Maxey and Edgecombe. Edgecombe was the 3rd overall pick. He looks like a star, and Maxey is a star.
It makes sense, right?
Those guys are young, in their prime. And if you get 45 games out of Embiid, you'll be good. And then you add in Jalen.
But why Warriors fans are pissed
my God.
Why couldn't you just trade for Jalen?
Because okay.
And then it makes you infinitely more attractive in Golden State, Joe. It just does. You're not going to get me off the Jalen Brown thing. You're just not going to.
Jimmy Butler.
You don't know that. They didn't make a call. I'm convinced Mike Dunleavy didn't even call Brad Stevens.
I think that's... you can't believe that.
I'm believing it.
You think he's that bad at his job? He didn't make a phone call. He doesn't have a feel.
I'm not saying he's bad at his job, but clearly...
That's what you're insinuating.
Well, I didn't...
That when you say that he's not making a call on Jaylen Brown, everyone in the league has an idea of what their asking price is. And I guarantee you the Celtics knew which players that they would take back and which ones they wouldn't. They were not taking back Jimmy Butler's torn ACL.
Dunleavy might have inside information, which is why he didn't call in regards to Jaylen Brown.